Hello and welcome back to my channel. So for today's video, I am doing something a little bit different. It is going to be 10 cool things to do in Orlando that aren't the main theme parks of Disney World and Universal. And this may seem like a random video to do, but I am a huge Orlando fan, if you didn't know. It's one of our favourite places in the world. As a family, we don't tend to go back to the same place more than twice because there's just so much of the world to discover, but I would go back to Orlando year after year after year if I could. I just love it there so much. I never went as a child. It was always a dream of mine to go, and we were never in a position to be able to. So it really was a dream come true that we were able to take our children to Orlando for the first time. And since then, we've been really lucky to go back a couple of times, and I just love it so much. And I do get a lot of questions on Instagram, still on YouTube comments, and also on my blog and email about Orlando. So I thought it would be nice to do like a mini series about Orlando. Don't worry, it's not going to be every week because if you aren't planning on going to Orlando, it's not going to be very interesting. But I just thought every once in a while I would pop up a video about it, just because I think when you book your first trip to Orlando, it really is so exciting but so daunting. There's so much to do, and you could just go and you could have an amazing time and not plan, but it really is one of those places and one of those destinations that if you plan, and the more you plan, the more you will get out of it. And I have picked up so many tips and tricks and insider knowledge over the years that we've been going, and I just thought it would be really nice to do like a little mini series. So the first one is going to be 10 cool things to do in Orlando that aren't the main theme parks of Disney and Universal. Now obviously most people going to Orlando, especially from the UK, will go to those two parks or at least one of them, and they are brilliant. Disney is by far one of my favourite places on earth, but I thought it would be nice to start off and to kick it off with 10 cool things that you should do that aren't Disney World and Universal, because there is so much else that Orlando has to offer, whatever budget you are on your holiday, and I just thought it would be nice to talk about them. So if you are new to my channel, my name is Katie. I post videos 3 times a week on a Sunday, Tuesday and Thursday. I would love it if you would subscribe. We do a lot of travel as a family, well not loads, but we do travel. We're very fortunate and lucky to be able to travel as a family, both independently and as part of my job, so we're very grateful for that. And yeah, I'm just going to get started. Here are 10 cool things to do in Orlando that aren't the main theme parks of Disney and Universal. So first up is Icon Orlando. This is Orlando's relatively new entertainment complex. It's full of lots of different shops and restaurants and other attractions, and it's also home to Icon Orlando Wheel, which is a big wheel. It goes 400 feet up in the air and gives you incredible views of Orlando below you. But it's just a really fun place to spend a few hours either in the afternoon or evening. You can grab an ice cream and go and sit in the sunshine on a bench or on the artificial grass, and whenever we've been during the week in the daytime, it's never been that busy, so it's been a really lovely way of escaping the crowds at the theme parks. And last time we went to Madame Tussauds. This was such good fun. I had been a little bit worried beforehand that perhaps my children, who were 7, 5 and 2 at the time, wouldn't know the people and therefore wouldn't get a lot out of it, but they recognised a lot of them, and even if they didn't, it's just so interactive. There's loads of different props for photo opportunities and lots of dress up opportunities as well, and my 5-year-old loves dressing up, so she was in her element here. But it's just a really nice place to spend a few hours. Next up, really nearby on International Drive, is iFly. This is Orlando's indoor skydiving centre, and I cannot stress what an amazing and incredible experience this was. So you mimic going and parachuting and skydiving out of a plane, except it's all done indoors in these big indoor wind tunnels, and it's just such good fun. Anyone from ages 3 to 103 can fly, obviously depending on if you are fit and healthy, and I just thought it was crazy seeing my little then 4-year-old do it, but she loved it. They both did. It was just such good fun and just an incredible experience. If you are a little bit apprehensive about doing it, the instructors really put you at ease. They fly with you, and it's just so much fun. Next up, just down the road again, is WonderWorks, and from the minute you set foot in the crazy vortex tunnel, you are immersed in what they call a world of edutainment, which is educational entertainment, and they aren't wrong. It's full of 3 floors of science experiments and fun games and interactive exhibits, and we've actually been twice just because it's really good fun and there's loads to do for all ages. It's just a really fun place to visit. It's open till really late, so it's never really busy all in one go, and it's again nice to escape the craziness of the theme parks. There's also a really cool laser quest and also an indoor rope challenge on the roof, which we really love as well. And it's also home to the Out of Control comedy magic show, which is so much fun and definitely worth looking into too. Next up is one of our favourite places, just a few minutes from Disney World, is Celebration. Celebration is a beautiful but slightly surreal little town. It was built in the 1990s by Disney to create the perfect town, but it ended up getting sold by the company in 2004. However, it does still have an element of the kind of Disney dream perfect town about it. There's lots of little shops and restaurants, a beautiful lake that you can sit by, a children's splash pad. You have to go to the Wonderland cookie dough company where you can get all the most amazing different flavours of cookie dough, and it's just a really pretty little town to come and visit. It's quite chilled out and it's just a really nice place. One thing that we love to do is go and drive around the beautiful houses. There's some of the most beautiful houses I have ever seen, and it's definitely worth a drive round. We've only ever been at Halloween, and then we get to see them all dressed up for Halloween, which is amazing, but you can go at any time and it's still beautiful. Next up, I'm sort of cheating here because it is technically Disney, but I am talking about Disney Springs. Disney Springs is a massive entertainment centre. It's full of so many different restaurants, fast food, live music, shops. It's just brilliant and it's definitely worth a visit. You have to go to the Cupcake Sprinkles ATM where you get delivered your cupcake like in a cash machine. The cupcakes are actually really delicious though, and we try and go to Disney Springs at least a couple of times when we are in Orlando, just because there's so much to do, there's such a great atmosphere, and there's always new restaurants to try as well. It's just a really cool place, and one thing to note as well is that you don't need to have a Disney park ticket in order to visit Disney Springs, so it is well worth a visit. Next up is Gatorland. You must have heard of the famous Florida residents, the alligators, and here is where you can learn a lot more about them. There's loads of different shows and exhibits, and it's just a really great way of learning more about alligators. We found it really interesting, and we love how much Gatorland seemed to really care for their alligators, and it was just a really interesting afternoon. Gatorland also has other experiences, like it has their Stomping Gator off-road adventure where you go on a big jeep, and it's also got one of our most favourite parts of our trip, which was the screaming zip line. This is absolutely amazing and one of the best things that we have ever done. You go on 1,200 feet of zip line all across the swamps where the alligators are swimming below you, and it's honestly just brilliant, so I definitely recommend doing that. Next up, one of our other favourite places in Orlando is Winter Park. Winter Park is about half an hour away from Orlando, and it's a beautiful little town. It's got lots of upmarket shops and restaurants, and it's got a street that you can walk down where a lot of the restaurants are outside, so you can sit outside and watch the world go by. It's really nice to visit on a weekend because there always seems to be things going on, or you can just sit on the grass and watch the world go by and enjoy the sunshine. It's just a lovely way to get away from the busyness of the parks, and it's a really beautiful place. There's also a lake nearby as well where you can walk down on the dock and take in all the beauty around you, and it's just really lovely. And also, for a few dollars you can go on a boat ride which are run by local residents, where they tell you all the gossip around the big houses that surround the lake, and it's just a really lovely place to spend the afternoon. Winter Park, like I said, is one of our favourite places in Orlando and is definitely worth a visit. Next up is Aquatica. Aquatica is a water park and it's a really great one to visit if you don't want to go to either the Disney water parks or to Universal's Volcano Bay. It's a really big water park. There's loads going on. There's loads of different rides. There's a huge splash zone for the kids. There's river rapids, all sorts of different slides and things. And it's just a really nice day out for all the family. You can also hire a cabana if you want to have a little bit of shade, but I really recommend it. I think sometimes the other ones are a little bit busy and this one is a really nice, lovely water park. Next up is the West Orange Bike Trail. This again was one of the highlights of one of our visits to Orlando. It's 22 miles long, but we only did about 7 miles. We hired our bikes from a place called Bikes and Blades and headed out to Winter Garden, which is another beautiful little suburb, and we ate lunch at a place called Plant Street Market, which is a really cool place. We went at the weekend and there was lots going on, but it's basically lots of different vendors all in this big warehouse, lots of independent vendors and street food type things, and I really recommend it. It was really relaxing. It was lovely to get a bit of exercise and feel the sun on your shoulders, and it was a brilliant time. Next up is DeLeon Springs State Park. This is actually an hour and a bit out of Orlando, but I definitely recommend a visit here. All America's state parks are lovely. There's lots of hiking you can do and walks and biking. There's playgrounds for the kids, but there's also a really cool restaurant called the Sugar Mill Restaurant where you can make pancakes on a griddle in front of you. We have never been anywhere like it before. The pancake mix was delicious. You got all sorts of different toppings to put on them and it was just really, really nice. We loved it and the pancakes were delicious and it was just a little bit different. It definitely was one of the favourite restaurants that we went to while we were on holiday. But DeLeon State Park also has other cool things to do as well. It was raining where we went, but it didn't stop us going in their natural pool. It is massive and I can imagine it would be really busy in the summer, but we were the only ones there and it was just probably one of the best experiences of my life, swimming in the rain, and I definitely recommend a visit if you want to get out of Orlando. So that is it. That is my 10 cool things to do in Orlando that aren't Disney or Universal. I really hope that you enjoyed this video, and if you are planning a trip to Orlando, you found this useful. Please let me know if you would have any other Orlando videos you would like me to make. Like I said, I've got a few that I want to do about Disney and about planning and all sorts of different things, but let me know if you have any specifics. I'm not going to be doing them weekly because I don't want to turn off my viewers who aren't ever going to go to Orlando or aren't interested in these type of videos. But yeah, leave me a comment if you would like some more, and thank you so much for watching and I will see you next time. Bye!